World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Live from Soul City. Good morning, community. Good morning, community is a platform where members of the community can find out more about small businesses and community-based organizations, how to get involved, volunteer, or donate, as well as some of the resources and services they provide. At Good Morning Community, we offer encouragement, share resources, encourage you to hold yourself accountable, and most importantly, we genuinely want to see you win. My name is Eartha Watts Hicks, and I am the CEO of Eartha Tone Books, publisher of Love Changes, Graffiti Mural, and A Planner is a Girl's Best Friend, as well as a freelance writer, editor, and PR writer and affiliate for BlackPR.com, executive editor for Harlem World Magazine, and a longtime member of the Harlem Writers Guild. Now, I'm your host, and today we're kicking off this holiday season with our special guest. Special guest, especially to me. Love her to pieces. Our guest for today is Lady V of Lady V's Second Time Around. And Lady V takes her passion for fashion around the world and curates the finest of vintage designs. Fashion is a history lesson, and this retired educator travels internationally, bringing style and flawless flavor to the best of pop-up events here, there, and everywhere, all while teaching up the come up of fashion mavens, showing them how it's done and how to do it well. Good morning, Lady V.
How are you?
I'm good.
I am. Do you hear an echo with me?
Yeah, just a little bit, but you know what? Let's have this conversation and enjoy it, echo and all.
Okay, because what's going Okay. The thing is, I think I have you on twice. Literally, I see two screens, and it's all my fault. I love myself.
Oh, well, can you turn one off?
I don't know. I love them. Okay. Can Matt help you with that?
Well, let's start the conversation, and Matt will figure it out.
Okay.
Okay, so tell us how you got to this place of being the queen of vintage fashion.
Well, the way I started was, I love being the queen of vintage fashion, but moreover, I love being the fairy godmother of vintage fashion, because what it does for me, it gives me the opportunity to serve. Mm-hmm. It gives me the opportunity to motivate. It gives me the opportunity to bring joy. I think that is what I was born to do, to bring joy. Mm-hmm. And I love what I do, and I was able to have different levels of working in the field. So, my bio, I started out with vintage as a way of getting my college tuition taken care of. I
Okay.
worked in a thrift shop.
Mm.
And that's where I kind of really got introduced. And at the same time, I was working with a modeling company. You know how you do those grassroots things in college? Well, I
Mm-hmm.
was the student program council president. So I created this modeling club, and we did a lot of community service, and I had to dress them. So why not
Mm-hmm.
dress them with the thrift clothes that I had as a result of managing the thrift shop? And the CEO of the company, the nonprofit AABR, which is now all abilities can go to blind and retarded or whatever. I don't know. They have a new name and a new swing on it because blind and retarded is not the words we use today.
No.
But in 1980, those were the words we used. So I got a plug with them, and they love what I did. And so I began to do their annual fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there on, it's just been what I've done,
Mm-hmm.
the gift I've given,
Mm-hmm.
and because of the way I educate as a social studies English teacher, I am not the girl who stands still and teaches in the front of the classroom.
Okay.
Can't do it. Let's have, we do a little theory stuff, how it was. Let's dress up and be that person, be that character, be that place that we're studying,
Right, right, right.
especially seventh and eighth grade history, because seventh and eighth grade history and literature had to
Mm-hmm.
do with the United States and the freedom of our people and
Mm-hmm.
the evolution of the Renaissance period, which I know
Mm-hmm.
you're very familiar with.
Yes.
And so it's been evolved. And then of course when I found eBay too. Oh my God.
Oh,
And then I
eBay.
began
Mm-hmm.
dressing from eBay. And after that, I retired and I looked up the sorority, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, had a
Mm-hmm.
fundraiser, and they said, bring all your clothes, or anything, blah, 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 to sell. The table's only $10. So I bought a table, I got excited, bought a rack, my first rack, and I set it up. It was in this parking lot. Um, I must have had 5 customers.
Wow.
It made like $25. And I turned around to the floor and said, I love this. I love this. It wasn't even about money. It was about the communications. It was about connecting with people. It was about being at middle school principal again. Crazy, wonderful, liver of joy. And ever since I went to Long Island City Flea, um, the story goes on.
Wow. Wow. Now, I remember one time many moons ago where you dressed me for a fashion show. And the dress was a leather dress, sleeveless. It was absolutely gorgeous. And you even gave me these crystal drop earrings to go with the dress and some lace gloves. And you taught me then in that moment that fashion was all about the accessories and the presentation and the whole package of things, from the hair to the makeup to the accessories. Even though the dress was like absolutely the most fabulous leather dress that I had ever seen. And I later found out that you had a jacket to match it. But that particular dress, and it was kicked up like exponentially with the way you put all the accessories on me. So I love that, and I remember that distinctly because we're going back now to 1990 to name the year.
Yeah.
And that dress is probably still in fashion today
Oh, well.
because it's a look that would never ever go out. Even the whole outfit from head to toe, I could walk out today and not look like I'm out of the era, And thank you for that, because that was a lesson that I carried with me into adulthood, you know.
But
But
the other thing I love, the other thing I love about that whole fashion show essence is that one of the things I was able to express the need is when you get out there wearing that piece,
Mm-hmm.
I used to say, attack the audience before the audience attacks you. And what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Put your head up. Look at the audience in the eye. Let the
Mm-hmm.
audience know that you're confident. Let the audience know that you are presenting, you know. And so that is kind of like the education of edutainment of a level of confidence and self-esteem. And I know some of my colleagues still do that stuff with the young people. But
Mm-hmm.
and then you talked about me with the jacket. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about that early in the program, how I was able to wear the jacket. Now that daggone leather skin tight vest you
Mm-hmm.
had on, which was a size 6.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I was able to wear that jacket was because it had dome sleeves and it was a swing,
Okay. Okay. I can
right?
see that. Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about vintage and we talk about thrift, and then you talk about that was a leather piece, and leather lasts long,
Yes.
you know, and
Yes.
it's a well kept fabric, and
Mm-hmm.
you can wear it today. You're absolutely
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because I was telling my daughter, because my just teaching her about quality and about what type of clothing to buy. I explained to her many years ago that vinyl is nice for today, but leather, you'll have that leather thing for the next 20, 30, 40 years if you take care of it. So like even down to belts, they don't really sell leather belts like they used to. So leather
right.
belts is definitely one of those things that people should be buying vintage, because they're hard to find, and if you do find them, they're
Yeah,
exorbitant.
and unfortunately, the swing, the fashion is very insidious. I'm sorry to say. It's whatever they'll buy, whatever they buy. Oh, they're vegans now? Okay, this is vegan leather, or this is a vegan piece. And gotta be careful about the language that you're being given by the consumer. And
Hmm.
that's another topic, because I know that this uh, period of the fashion week in February, they're banning fur coats. So I'm continuing to sell my vintage fur, no matter what. But these kinds of materials, the leather, the
Hmm.
wools, cashmeres, especially this time of year,
Yeah.
they last. And what is wonderful is what our grandparents and our great grandparents were able to do. Pass it on.
Yeah.
Legacy. That's
Yeah.
legacy fashion. Being able to buy something and say, I can keep this. Okay, it might not fit me 15 years when I'm 45, 60 years old, but I can pass this on to a young person. I've passed a lot of my pieces on to young people in very
Yeah.
good condition, you know.
Yeah.
So you were right in telling your baby that.
Yeah, yeah, and I know, like, even with the vintage minks and the vintage fox and coyote coats, women are passing them down to their daughters and nieces, and in some instances they're able to wear just as is, and in some instances I know of friends who've taken it to a furrier and having it retailored or whatever have you. But those vintage items they're good 20 years later. They were expensive back in the day, but they're still holding their value today. It's not like what we used to call pleather, that's now called vegan leather, where after being worn in the rain a few times, it's coming apart. So not that you would wear leather or suede in the rain, but vegan leather is, the quality is not there, and the longevity is not there, and even if you take extra good care of it, it's still going to fall apart.
And not only that, let's look at how it affects our environment. You know, what happens when it falls apart? What do you do?
It
You
goes right in the
break.
landfill.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. That's that is what it is. Now, what I would like to know is please share about your experiences traveling outside of the country and curating pieces outside of the US. And what is that like? And like the first time you discovered that very first piece in another country, what was that piece and how did it make you feel?
When you said that, I almost started tearing.
Oh.
Um, my first international was my son Drew. My son Drew. He's like the person, the medium that was used in international traveling because he made a decision at 12, 13 that he wanted to go to boarding school like his parents. But he went a step further and he said, I want to go to, well, he looked at the top 10 international schools. And at that time, he was in the UN school, United Nations school. So it wasn't really like a source for him to look at some places outside of the country. So Charterhouse was one of the top 10 schools. And so he said to me, he's so slick. He's not slick, but he's so cute. He said, "Mother, if I could just could you call and see if I can get an interview to go to this school because I want to see." And now Drew was in the Harry Potter era, so
Okay.
Charterhouse was just like Harry Potter. And so of course I said yes. We do form three. We are a Delta family, and so of course, and every 6 weeks I'd have to go there. Of course, he got accepted. Every 6 weeks I'd have to go there. And I just went shopping every time I went there. And it was small at the time. It wasn't. But then finally I started going on my own. And, without the privileges of Delta and all of that, just going on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I started out with one suitcase and had to buy another suitcase. I have been to England. I went to France, but I didn't. I went to Italy, Spain, Amsterdam was out of control. If I could say what's the best, Amsterdam, Denmark, and then parts of the States as well. You can't give up like Hilton Head in South Carolina. Oh, and then Connecticut. And then I started also, we went thrifting together in New York.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that my brand is about is doing the legwork, flying, going out of the state. Because I want to be, what can I offer my audience? What can I offer my customers? So I walk out of the States. Now I have people, buyers that I've met from as far away as Jordan, and we stay in communications, and this is what he has for me. He helped me develop a men's line. But yeah, and one of the things when you talk about that runway and you start off with that runway and you look at the audience in the eye, the audience back to, I think I have to play that in another word, but you look at that confidence in yourself with the audience, that helps with communications. The world is mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's mine. I mean, and it's not a brag thing. It's just what the universe has given me. And I'm not a, how you call the word? It's not a monopoly. The world is yours too. That's why your authorship, that's why your book doesn't just go. Look at how you brand yourself. And it's multicultural,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about identifying everybody, for no better word, as a child of the universe, built for greatness. And when I look at my customers like that, I think they automatically that that's what I see in them. So my international traveling has been expensive. And there's places that I just pop up. Like, you wouldn't think the Caribbean has any, but it does. But it comes with private clients. So I will have somebody, and then I'll say, "Oh, by the way, this is what I do," right? And they were like, "I have some things." So sometimes it's a private collection. I remember, oh, you know who I love? I love Audrey Smalls. You ever heard of Audrey Smalls? Now, she used to do Ebony
No.
Fashion Fair. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. She was the commentator, and then after Ebony Fashion Fair, she had a company that would do back. I think it's back. I don't know what it's something back. What do you call it? Anyway, she had a company that dressed all the models in big time fashion shows. She she rubbed elbows with Patrick Kelly. Uh, 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 I can't even name all the models. I wish I had it listed. But anyway, she was able. I met her personally at the Manhattan Vintage Show. And one of the reasons why I met her is because I did a career day at Fashion High School, and she was on the board. So she came to one of my shows. I believe the reason why she came to the show, because the show was representing Stephen Burrows' designs. Now, Stephen Burrows, the bomb diggity dig dig dong. He was part of the Versace stylist thing. And she thought he would show up, but he's very shy. I've met him also. But that's how I met her. And because of my confidence in self. And the confidence in self comes naturally. It's not like, oh, let me do, it's just confident. And people see it. They see joy. They see that. And I had a conversation with her, and a couple of years ago, she was moving from one place to another. And she said, Lady V, I got some stuff for you. And of course I bought it, but of course it wasn't at the level that, so I have the first sale that I did of one of her pieces, $2,100. And that was literally how much I paid for the lot.
Wow.
So just imagine a lot being at least 7 or 8 pieces. And including in that lot was Patrick Kelly, this wonderful girl. Now, Audrey is about 6'2".
Oh.
And so it's not always easy to get a customer that tall, but I was able to, the universe said, here's a customer. And I love the fact that, and this is another thing, the vintage clothing, a lot of them have to do with legacy. And when you know the history about a garment, it becomes totally different. It has its own personality. And when customers come to my booth, they say, oh, that's nice. I said, keep touching. This is a museum. Hands on, right? Because every time these garments get touched, they get love. And I have a theory. 7 touches, it's getting out. It's just going to be bought, right? But when clothes have history, that's the sale within itself, without me having anything to do with it, except for delivering the message.
Right. And that's what I love about your pop-up boutique, is that it's very experiential, and each piece feels like time travel, in the sense that it's the fabric, the quality fabric from that period, and it's the texture that, the tweed and the woven fabrics and the different threads and the different colors and then the linings and all the details that went into creating the pieces from back then. Like nowadays, it's instant fashion. It's almost, the clothing is almost disposable in some cases. So to actually see the quality of the vintage clothing, and then to see it and match it with the era, it's like you get like a whole set of memories that kind of go in with that. Or, even if you don't remember it yourself, it's like you have like its own little movie playing in your head of, who would have worn this, how they would have worn it, what were they doing when they were wearing this. It's like you create your own reel in your mind, just looking at this
Now,
timeless vintage piece.
You're speaking about something.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a cape, and you can't see it very well because I don't have it. But this cape, I grew up with Joan Crawford and Betty Davis. So this cape and has arms here.
Ooh.
And the arms here. So it's just a cape. But this cape is older than me.
Wow.
Mink quality.
And it's beautiful and in excellent condition.
My story is Betty Davis. My story is Joan Crawford. My story is sitting watching the movies with my mom. That's my story with this cape. It might be your daughter's story with your great, with their great, but it has a story. And sometimes I'll say to customers, what does it remind you of? And they tell their stories.
Mm.
It's important. See, it's about the customer. It's about having the experience, the Lady V experience. It's about the liver of joy. And that's what I want to be. That's my purpose in life. And the medium, the clothes. The medium, the history. I mean, that's what I taught in middle school. You know? So
yeah, I know I had
I'm gonna keep this on for a while because it's kind of cold in the basement. You have to my basement stays cold most of the time because I have so many furs. And even and this is where a little money comes in, because even in the wintertime, I have a temperature that is off, so the basement gets cold. And you see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 racks on the lower level. And then on the upper level, I have 12 racks.
Wow.
So I have 2 different levels of racks for my clothes. I keep them very well. I get my basement sanitized every 2 months. So, and then I'm starting to look at what I'm offering my customers. Like when I started, Sean, I must have started, the bottom line was like, the big number was $25, $30 a piece. Now it's at least 100, and it could be up to 3,000. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh God. And the thing with the French designers like Terry Mugler, they have these rare pieces from the past. And so you invest in those pieces. But those pieces, most of the designers that I it's about the details. So this is a high-end piece by Terry Mugler, right? But the details, they not only does this have a snap button thing here, it has Velcro to keep it together. The snap button, the detail. Look at that.
The pockets. Look at that.
That's a pocket. That's a pocket. The waist is cinched. The pocket flap comes in a diagonal. You know. And so this costs about $20. $2,000. But it's worth it. You're not going to have it or see it unless you see it on somebody who got it 20 years ago. So one of the things I'm learning about designers, when it comes to certain pieces, couture, um, they only make a certain amount of pieces, and that's what makes it rare. And that's a piece. So this in itself would be luxury vintage, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah. And
other piece I love, I do upcycled.
mm,
So this piece is upcycled and with um, the design. Now this design is designed for celebrities. So you can imagine this going on stage.
yeah, wow, woo,
So
wow,
like a proof book.
yeah,
$3,000 if you want.
wow,
I love women in tails.
mm,
Women look so good in tails. They look great in tails. And I like selling menswear to women. I love the ties.
hmm,
Now, if you go to any Instagram place, and I can't demonstrate this because I ain't that good with it, but if you go to certain Instagrams, you'll see how no, you go to Instagram and you look at hacking, and you'll see how the women hack ties, and you learn how you can uh, wear the men's jackets,
hmm,
get educated on how to wear it. The men's coats sell really good with women because we
hmm,
have the hips, you know, and with the
yeah,
arms, we'll just fold them if we need
mhm.
to have that look. And I used to do that in the 80s, where men's
Yeah, they hang better as opposed to being
yeah,
form fitting, which
form fitting.
lunch can make you kind of out of that jacket.
Yeah,
Lunch can make you strain a button, but a men's jacket allows you to just be comfortable, and it moves with you.
yeah,
So you're
yeah,
right about that one. Yeah, it's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
And the fashions are just out of this world amazing. The most beautiful fabrics and textures, and like when you put the cape on with the glasses, I immediately thought of the opera. Like those kind of experiences, just something special, something extra special, gala, something where you would need something to stand out, or just in a moment where you need to feel your absolute best. It gives you that queen image for that queen feeling.
yeah.
That's the way of celebrating yourself.
Yes, yeah. And with the vintage furs, we're not asking for what the new furs are costing at this point as well. You know, you would always, no matter how precious the clothing is, you don't want to pay as much as the new brand. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I mean, there has to be a benefit in addition to the history of buying a vintage piece. And I think too, the prices go up depending upon a venue.
Hmm.
If you are in a venue, I'm in a venue that's costing me $5,000. You're going to expect to pay more money for vintage wear. However, it is going to be curated in the way that is so much worth it. I have the big shows, and you've worked with me in one of them, the Manhattan Vintage Clothing Show. Oh my God. It should just be a Manhattan Vintage.con, or they do have a title, Vintage Con, but it is the most phenomenal show that I do. Phenomenal. The music, the drink, and the vendors. My colleagues are off the chain. And You come up a notch. You give your audience the museum look that they're supposed to get. And if you're paying a lot of money for the venue, subsequently, not unfortunately, subsequently, it is up to the vendor's job. It is up to me to make sure we have exclusive pieces, right? And pieces that go bang, even if it's a subtle Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress, right? So bang doesn't always mean glitter like me. Bang could be just that detailed fit, that way it cinches the waist, the way the shoulder pads and the sleeve fit on a man. Yeah. So those I did do Grand Central Terminal as well.
Mm-hmm.
People, so that's a landscape. I mean a landmark.
Mm-hmm.
What? Grand Central Terminal? You go in there and it's historic.
Wow.
So there's some, pieces. Then you go to Grand Bazaar, New York City, where I celebrate. I love them because their donations go to schools. So they donate and contribute. So I'm with that. But then you get the sales. Then you get the things that better prices for the person who's watching their pocket.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And
you gotta know.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Have you run across many pieces that and I see this with the inventory that you carry, like some of the designers are so coveted that it's possible for the piece to have appreciated in value, almost like like you said, a museum item appreciates like artwork. Some of your pieces could and I'm sure have appreciated in value. How what is that like when you've seen it?
Sometimes in on camera, I forget names. So excuse me that I forgot a name. However, the museum was looking for Black designers. I think it was the Met looking for Black designers before the Dandy, right? And I had two designers. I mean, I had two pieces of a designer. I wish I could get his name off the top of my head. But I literally had a conversation with the curator. She asked me to send her pictures. Now, she didn't need it, but the fact that I was in that that environment, for no better word, or within that circle, was a gift. And I
Yeah.
am sure. Well, I have Patrick Kelly, who is well known. Um, he's a famous Black designer. And I do specifically have Black designers, vintage Black designers, or Black designers that made clothes during the 80s. And I wish we could have written it down, but I
Mm-hmm.
do find ways to celebrate them. I learn about them through our actresses like oh God, the father. I'm getting a brain fog, and I'm not blaming it on anything, any condition, but just Cicely Tyson. I wanted to look at some of the pieces that she wore. Then I said, "Oh, who's this?" I found out, and then I looked up these people, and that's sometimes what you got to do. That's what I do. How
Oh,
can I
yeah.
celebrate my people? Who are the designers? Ann
Yeah.
Lowe is all over Instagram as being a designer that designed for Jacqueline Kennedy, and she was well known. How do I
Mm-hmm.
celebrate her? Just make sure she's online in my stories. But more importantly, so I looked at Cicely Tyson helped me, and this particular designer, I looked them up and I looked for their pieces. They're not in the stores that I know of.
Okay.
I still do thrifting. We talked about that. And I I still do New York City, but specific ones. We talked about that. Housing Works. It has a cause, a purpose, and in the 80s, my that was the most scariest time of my life, and it was the most growing part of my life because AIDS was prevalent, and people were not living with AIDS; they were dying of AIDS. You know, and I'm not a fairy godmother for nothing. Okay, so my exposure to especially people who had problems with heroin or people who were um, they called it gay in my time. LBGT. I don't know. Listen, don't have me starting. But they were being affected, and I was scared. I
Yeah.
was scared, and then they didn't have the reasons why. That's even more scarier, you know.
No.
So back to where I was going, the 80s was a really poignant part of being afraid of what was going on in the environment. So when it comes to housing works, I celebrate them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
celebrate them. I am a member. I get my senior discount, and they have discounts on particular things different every day. Goodwill, Salvation Army, no. But real causes, like the cause that if they had a thrift store or a nonprofit that had to do with Alzheimer's to give money to, I would go there. I would go there.
Mhm.
I don't care who saw me. I would go there.
Wow.
See? So, I thrift with a purpose, I guess. It's not just going into any thrift store. Now, what I do is I support the middleman. Okay, so I'll go within the states and I will support the person who has curated and has a vintage show, and that's the
Mhm.
middleman. I just did that in Arizona. They have a very, very nice uh, um, section, Scottsdale. I went to Scottsdale and a very nice layout with vintage stores. So I do support my peers, colleagues uh, with vintage shows, with buying vintage.
Gotcha. Now,
Don't have a nice personality or don't have a nice personality. I might get all my money.
well, you're a ball of energy on Viv. You just are. You bring it, you share it, and you make people feel happy just by virtue of how you are and how enthusiastic you are, how knowledgeable and just wonderfully positive. So it just, it's like a powdered sugar.
Thank you.
It's amazing. But while we have a moment and while my mind is on it, please let our viewers know how we can follow you on social media.
Okay. My Instagram is Lady V SSTA. And I have kind of gotten a habit of posting most things on that. However, I know you knew about Platform 5. Platform 5 is my vision of a nonprofit that has to do with F fashion, I interns,
Mhm.
V vintage experience. So in that, they're creating or helping me to create more um, streams of not only income but availability to an audience. So we're going to be doing a TikTok live on December 26th, the first
Mhm.
day of Kwanzaa, self-determination, I believe.
Kui
We're doing
Jakalia.
that.
Yep, yep,
It's
yep.
going to be
Mhm.
curated by my interns, okay? And then I do have another live show at Manhattan Vintage Show, and that will be January 30th to February 1st. Uh, on Instagram, I will be my My website will be published. I have the young people taking pictures, uploading pictures on the website. I also have a whole mentoring piece with Platform 5. I also have stylists who would come to this vault, it's called the Lady V Vault, and teach how to style specific pieces. So that's going to be my website. It's going to be V Vintage. But you'll see all of that. Most of the meat is in Instagram.
In Instagram. Lady V SSTA.
Right. Lady V, just remember second time around. SSTA. I think, yeah. Lady V start with a double S.
Lady V SSTA on Instagram. Now, I already know your with your interns and your internships, there's also a mentorship component. And with you being an educator, you naturally have that education history thread to what it is that you're doing. So you're giving them and providing them the backstory on what it is and what the history of the pieces are and the designers, and you're enriching the lives of your interns as well.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And they're inspiring me. They're keeping me up to date. And I have such an open mindedness that they I actually take on some of the things that they share. Like I'll try it. Sometimes it's not. But I allow, because it's an experiential internship. It's not me telling them. Sometimes what we'll do for lunch, especially, is we'll watch a video, because we have a lunch hour. You know, um, I have one intern, Giselle, who took a gap year, and so she's able to work with me, like at least, and it's a paid internship. It's a paid internship. So I get to work with her, we get to work together, and I get a lot of things taken care of. But watch videos. Her next assignment is to style a piece, and then to tell me the history of the piece. So, they get to do some hands-on stuff. And Giselle says, "Well, I'm not an audience person. I don't like." She is so phenomenal when it comes to people. She and maybe the environment allows her to trust that she is that girl. I don't know, but she brings to the company hope, which all the interns do. Hope, their wisdom in this culture and this lifestyle and in this era of AI and social media. And I kind of give them this sacred space too, because they talk about some personal stuff. So I give them the sacred space. They trust me, and that's so good to be trustworthy. To share their some of their challenges. I have a blessed life. Don't have me cry on on camera. I'll beat you.
I was watching a movie recently, and the movie itself was set in the 80s. And like the year that it started, the storyline may have started 1983. And it was the Lisa story. And the whole story in and of itself was actually beautiful and beautifully done. But what pulled me out of it was how the fashions didn't match up with the period or the time or what we were doing in fashion during that time. So when I saw the character wearing a certain kind of baggy jeans, I was like, well, yes, but that was a couple of years before that. For her age, she would have been wearing either the Lees or the Disco Queen jeans with Lycra, and we were just starting to get into those high water pants. So like every time they because it was all about like trying to match the period with the clothing, because the 80s was all about just different clothing, so there was either the Lisa Bonet look, the Jodie Watley look, the Madonna look, Cyndi Lauper look, or it was the hip hop B girl with the iron-ons on the t-shirt look, or the denim suits and the acid wash and so to see them, like every time they missed on the fashion, I was like, oh, that wasn't what we wore right then. That's not it. Oh, it's a few years off. Oh, so I felt it. And I feel like when they do, these movies, especially, Black movies, which are our culture, or people of color movies, or even just movies in general, they need to have a historian such as yourself,
or a stylist that
the
knows
stylist,
shit about.
when they do someone who's familiar with the time period and the history of the pieces and what clothes, because I can't stand to see a slavery movie with buttons. It throws me off every single time, because I'm like, they weren't doing that then. They weren't doing that until later. Why they got buttons? And it throws me off if I notice something about how the garment was constructed that wasn't until the 1930s. If I'm watching a movie and the slave is supposed to be from the 1700s, it's like I spot it and it pulls me out.
Well, that's because you're educated.
Yeah.
And perhaps and that's dear to you, and yeah, so that's a good observation, to help you to know that people need to learn their history,
Mm-hmm.
right, and learn their fashion history, especially stylists.
Yeah.
um, I have met stylists, and don't consider myself a stylist. I really curate the pieces, right? And if there's questions that need to be asked, definitely I will answer them. But styling, I'm still a little bit insecure,
Well, I
except
mean,
body size. Like we were talking about the '80s with the drapery and the more material, and the '50s, in the mid. I have a lot of '50s. There's a thing that's big of material cut and then make a bigger, larger.
yeah.
There's a hem that's this big that you can bring down. They weren't afraid to cut fabric, honey. You
No.
know, and so style, like when it comes to especially women like myself, and I consider myself voluptuous, not fat, voluptuous. So I need to know what goes with, and I'm very curvy. I am so curvy. I'm curvy, wonderful. But the sleeves that hang, the dome sleeves, the swing coats, especially tight in this area. I have a waist, so I want to accentuate my waist. So what accentuates my waist are the short jackets, the short vintage jackets, and the shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads, yeah.
So I can recommend that person still has to kind of try it on and feel good about it. So I guess in a way I am styling, but I just don't want to be held accountable for that particular title. You don't see that on my card.
No, but I know one thing: you styled me in 1990 from head to toe.
But you were easy, girl. You were easy.
So I still remember that. You taught me, okay, and the earring doesn't have to necessarily be that standard bamboo earring that I was wearing all the time, because I was wearing the big bamboo earrings. He was like, oh, no. For that dress, you need these. And you pulled the dangling crystal ball earrings, and you gave me a finer aesthetic and sophistication in the accessories. Because I was, where's my gold chains and my bamboo earrings? You were like, no, not for this dress.
Well, you came from that era, and we came from that era, and mother came from that era. You know how mother dressed you. Mother treated you with a princess girl.
Yes.
So You were in gold before you were 10, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She loves you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, but let's remind everyone where we can catch you on social media. Lady VSSTA on
Instagram.
Instagram,
And
and
Lady V .sta on TikTok.
on TikTok. Okay, so you are on TikTok. Okay,
Yes,
great,
I
great,
am.
great.
I just
I'm
need to
Eartha Tone. Like earth tone is a color. My name is Eartha, so there's an A right in the middle, and I'm Eartha Tone everywhere across social media, and my website is a planner is a girl's best friend.com for the planners. And when is your next event, V?
My next event is a TikTok live stream on December 26th. And
Mm-hmm.
then my big, 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 wonderful, phenomenal event is on January 30th, 31st, and February 1st, 125 West 18th Street, Manhattan Pavilion. And the show's title, The Manhattan Vintage Show. The Out of
Okay,
Control Show. And I'll
gotcha,
be featuring the best.
gotcha. I'm be looking forward to that. Wow. All right. And I forgot to ask you one question. Who is
Okay.
your favorite designer?
Whoa. I'm going to give homage to Patrick Kelly.
Patrick
Um,
Kelly.
I'm going to give homage to Patrick Kelly, and I'm going to give homage to Stephen Burrows. They're very hard to get. They have rare pieces, and they've broke the chains for us as Black women in terms of fashion.
Wow.
I
Well,
love
thank
my French designers. I
you.
love my Mugler. I love my Alexander McQueen, but I got to pay homage to our peeps.
Gotcha. And if someone wants to find out more about becoming a mentor, a mentee intern, what should they do? How can they reach you? Should they just email you straight? Yeah, email. So,
Yeah,
lady.
I would love them to email me with their resume and or um, well, we couldn't love her, but just a resume or a request to have an experience with me.
Okay. All righty. And there was
Wow.
one more question.
Oh,
Where do you see Lady V's second time around fashion um, um, 2 years from now, 5 years from now?
um, in a transitional period, time, or I, 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 I don't know, but wherever it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But
I
there
know that's
is a transition. I don't think anything is constant, but change, and opportunities come to those who are available and open. But I will always be a liver of joy. I know that no matter what.
well, thank you so much, Vivian. And for those who are watching, please, please, please follow Vivian on Instagram. And if you're watching Good Morning Community, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can find out more about the episodes that are coming up. I'm Vivian. Thank you for joining us
I
today.
love you so much, Sean. I
And
love, love, love you.
I
And
love you
Matt,
too,
thank you
Vivian.
too.
I love you, Vivian. And Matt, she thanks you. Thank you so much, Vivian. And thank you, our audience, for joining us today. And look for I'm Vivian at the Manhattan Pavilion Show on January 30th, 31st, and February 1st. And join us on Wednesday again at 11 a.m. for Good Morning Community. And that's the day before Christmas. So I guess we'll even kick up this festivity a little bit more. So I look forward to speaking with you and sharing resources about small businesses like my Aunt Vivian and those who give back to my community, our community, like Aunt Vivian does with the mentorship and the interns. And if you would like to find out more about Good Morning Community, send me an email. My email is earthatone@gmail.com. Send me an email if you would like to be a guest, to be featured, or if you'd like to find out more about some of the guests that we've already featured. Again, thank you for joining us this Wednesday morning, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.